Hello and welcome to today's video. So this time it's a special video just for my friend Tom. Now Tom, hopefully you're recovering post-operation and I've pulled together some decent recovery reading for you, and that is what we're going to be having a look at today. So I've checked on the Paperback Warrior website and none of these books that I've pulled here have been reviewed on there. So hopefully you'll enjoy reading them and you can share what you find with readers of your website and maybe even the podcast as well. So because these have come from the original paperback haul that I found recently, I've not had a chance to give them a bit of a clean and the once over, so I'm going to give them the treatment as well, which we'll have a look at in a minute, and then I'm going to get these in the post straight over to you. So that is going to be the subject of today's video, so sit back, relax, and let's get to it. Okay then Tom, so here are the 5 books that I've got for you. A bit of an eclectic selection, shall we say, but hopefully something of interest for you. So first of all, we've got a Hank Janssen. Now, I don't know a lot about this author. It's actually quite a lot of different authors under different pseudonyms, so you might need to do a bit of research and see who wrote Crowns Can Kill. But I thought, well, I've never heard you really mention Hank Janssen on the podcast, so I thought, well, here's one for you to possibly try. We've got this one here, Brit Halliday by Mike Shane. Now, you have reviewed some of these before on the show, I know, but this is one that I couldn't see reviewed on the Paperback Warrior website. And this is a Dell original, so it is actually a USA one. Here's the first of 2 pans that I got for you, and this is a later Saint book, The Saint on the Spanish Main. Let's see when this one was printed. 1962 as a pan first, but it actually was first published in 1955 by Hodder. So it's got like 5 stories in there in different locations, a different adventure in each one. So I think that might be quite interesting. I've never really heard you talk about Len Deighton. Now, he didn't really come to prominence until sort of the late 1960s, sort of mid to late 60s. He actually started work as a Penguin books designer, as an artist, then became a reporter, and got some quite celebrity, and he ended up being a big name, really. Now, Len Deighton's was predominantly spy books. This one's published in 67, Panther edition 1969, and a lot of people liken him to sort of picking up the mantle of Ian Fleming when Ian Fleming passed away. So some of the books are like, Ipcress File, Horse and Water, Funeral in Berlin, $1 Billion Brain. They're all very, very similar, with Harry Palmer as the lead protagonist rather than James Bond. But even so, I think possibly Len Deighton might be one for you to try. And then the real sort of jewel in the crown, and one which I hope you're going to will find pride of place permanently in your collection, is the original Pan first edition of the Maltese Falcon. Now, once again, I know you've covered a little bit of Dashiell Hammett on the website and on the podcast, but you've not done this absolute classic. And this Pan book edition is easily one of my favourites. So I was delighted to see that I had a double turn up in the Pan collection, which I was able to pass to you. So this is an original Pan first printing from 1951. And I think a really, really nice cover there. I think that'll be a really nice addition to your vintage library. Now, that's the books. However, a couple of them do need a little bit of work, so I have brought all my kit: rubbers, scalpel, toothbrush, cloth, cleaning polish, and I give these all the once over before I send them out to you. So that is what we're going to do next. Right then, well, we'll start with the Maltese. No, let's go back in reverse order, because I think this one in actual fact is one of the ones that needs the most work. So I think before we start, what I generally do is brush the tops off. So got my old trusty toothbrush here, and hopefully these aren't too bad, but some of the books in that collection were pretty awful, I have to say. They've been stored in not the best of conditions for 2 to 3 decades, I think. So they had, in that time, as you can imagine, got quite a bit of dust and dirt. But these aren't too bad. I'm seeing a bit of dust coming off a couple of them, but believe me, recently I've seen a lot worse. Give the bottoms a little wipe, but they're never usually too bad. Now, a cursory look through these. In actual fact, the Hank Jansen is actually the worst because it's got a page block has come out, so it is actually going to need to be re-glued. But it's not actually too difficult with these to get the spine off, because they were printed in pretty bad, pretty poor quality glue back then. They were very cheaply produced, these Hank Jensens. So let's get a bit of the old glue on there. I'll pop a little bit onto the two boards here as well, like so. And we'll pop this one back on, and this should give it a bit of a better binding. At least good enough to read, you know. I mean, it's not going to win any awards for best looking vintage paperback or anything like that, but it is at least going to be able to be read. £2.06. Date-wise, this would appear to be early 1960s, I think. So you might have to tread carefully with this one a little bit when you read it, but hopefully it's just about going to be good enough to get yourself through. And give that a minute or so for the glue to go off. Right, here's the Brett Halliday, Mike Shane. Nice jacket, that one. Almost reminds me of Robert McGuinness, in actual fact. I wonder if that is a Robert McGuinness. Cover up by McGuinness. There we are, look at that. So that's cool in itself, isn't it? And I do believe this one is probably a first as well. Yeah, first Dell print in April 1966. So this is a pretty good one as well, isn't it? I think this is quite a nice collectible one, which will go well in your library. With a Robert McGuinness cover, of all things. And that one's fine. I've just taken the original, the second-hand dealer's price out. Yeah, that's a nice one. Here's that Saint book. Yeah, it's quite nice. No internal marks. That was absolutely fine. The Len Dayton. I said, if you've never tried him, I think they are worth trying. I'd be interested to know what you think of Len Dayton, if we do get around to reading him. There we are. And the last one is the Maltese Falcon. And this is, once again, this was a nice copy. There's a couple of pages, or a page folded over, so we don't want that. The first time I ever read this, it was in this exact edition, this old pan edition from 1951. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. It's a really nice one. I think you'll love that. So all that's left now is just to give the covers a little polish up. They didn't need a lot of work, thankfully. Now, that's more a mattish cover. That's a shiny one. The rest are shiny, so that one I'm going to do last, just with a sort of what was left on the duster here. So I got my trusty Mr. Sheen furniture polish. I've been cleaning hundreds of books. I've had a week off work, so I've been doing literally 100 books a day, and I'm a bit booked out, to be honest, this week. But 5 more isn't going to make any difference, and I wouldn't want to send you anything dirty, you know. So just giving these ones the old once over, because sometimes, as you've seen in my cleaning videos in the past, some of the dirt and dust can be almost invisible. This one was pretty nice, I have to say, actually, with the Robert McGuinness cover. It's really, really nice. I think that almost deserves a second look at that. Looks like she's on board a boat, doesn't she? Just great. What does he do? What does he do with legs? Honestly, Robert McGuinness and women's legs are just incredible. There we are. That's looking nice. Right, the Hank Jackson. That was a bit of a rough old copy, this one, but I tell you what, they hardly ever turn up. So I'm hoping this is one that's never come across your radar before, and that potentially it's a nice little gem. But you know, I don't know. I don't think I've read any Hank Jackson in the last 2 or 3 decades, to be honest. I know some people absolutely love them, and I remember back the 50s editions you used to be able to see by the bucket load in the UK, but they've all dried up now. But maybe something worth a little look at. Do this Len Dayton, great cover, nice photographic cover, very much of its time, so sort of late 60s. This would have stood out, girl in the coffin there. Find with black covered books, they mark very, very easily. So if you find a book with a black cover and it's not got too much like edge wear, you know you're doing pretty good. And finally, I can't do too much with this one. There's the early Maltese Falcon. Brilliant. Okay, so now something I don't usually do on video, and something I don't generally do with books in general, because I just don't have the room to bag everything. But this particular one I am going to bag up because it's such a beauty. It does deserve slightly extra treatment, shall we say. And should you wish to keep it on the shelf, it'll be looking good. Always difficult to get the air out of these sort of comic bags. I know you can get sort of dedicated paperback bags, but I've never really found any that I was really happy with. But this will do. This will do for now. And it is such a nice book. I think the bag really sort of sets it off. A real nice little collectible that. And then we're going to put the whole lot into one new bag for you, ready to be parcelled up and sent. So I am hoping, I'm going to send these airmail, I'm hoping they do get to you in good time, and that by the time you've read it, by the time they get to you rather, you will be well on the road to recovery. So I'll just leave them like that. So there you go, Tom. I hope you do enjoy these books when they do get over to you, and that you have a very, very speedy recovery. So once again, absolutely all my very best, mate, and I shall speak to you soon. Bye.